there are certain Hermes pieces I am convinced people will only buy when they are trying to get a bag, because I don't think there is a single person out there who could justify spending so much money on such ludicrously pointless pieces in their right mind, at least without ulterior motive. So today, these are the Hermes pieces we'll be looking at. Hermes creations that I don't think you could get a lot of use out of, or ones that just really make no sense to spend so much money on because they are not the most innovative, the most interesting, or even aesthetically pleasing, in my humble opinion, and especially not for the kind of money that these things will set you back. Now, I, of course, have some recommendations if you are trying to spend some serious money at Hermes to fast track your journey, but don't forget that no purchase will guarantee that you will be offered your dream bag on the spot, so I would be careful with that. Obviously, if you're buying something because you genuinely love it, there's no harm. Of course, it can help you establish yourself as a client, but don't forget that there's nothing that will guarantee a bag offer. So don't buy anything just for the sake of it. Buy things that you're genuinely interested in. And these are not ones that I think anyone could benefit from having in their collections. So if you'd like to find out what Hermes pieces I would not swipe my credit card for, then make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, and keep on watching. I don't know if it's the topic or if I just made my chai a little bit too spicy, but I'm already getting overheated, so I might have to take my sweater off at one point. But anyway, let's jump straight in and start with a piece that I have to be honest, I haven't seen in quite a while. But if you are an OG Hermes client, if you're someone who's been buying the brand for a long time, I have no doubt you'll be familiar with these pieces because they were all the craze. I remember people buying these in bulk, resellers always bought it, and you knew that if someone bought it without them actually having a kid, they were after a bag, which are the Hermes, I think they were called, the Hermes plush toys, which were basically these stuffed horse animals that they did in 2 different sizes. I mean, there's nothing wrong with if you're going to buy these for an actual child, but if you're buying these to put in your wardrobe or to put on display, you might think that it will help you get a bag, but it will not help you get taste, because who would want to have this creepy looking plushed horse on their coffee table with these creepy glassy eyes? I was just never the biggest fan, and I actually did have friends who bought these toys without them having kids. I mean, don't get me wrong, if you have kids who would enjoy these, or if you're really into horses, ignore me. But if you're just buying them for the sake of buying something, I think there are much better pieces to spend your money on. Not to mention that some people also bought the matching rocking horse, which Hermes is still doing. I actually had this one friend who bought it, and she had it sitting in the corner of her living room, and she didn't even like horses. So to me, that wasn't something that I could wrap my head around, especially because these things will not help you any more than buying something that you would actually enjoy. I mean, if you have an extra $600 to burn, these plush toys are still very much around, but they're actually doing some much cuter designs. At this point, they're doing a dragon for this current season. They have been doing little dogs and bunnies. So the range of plush toys at this point is much more expensive. So if you actually have a baby or a kid to buy these for, or if you have someone in your life who's really into plush toys, which obviously I do get that, you can find some much cuter alternatives at this point. But the ones that I am very much against, especially if you're buying these thinking that these will help you get a bag, are the original Hermes horses, which, trust me, there is something wrong with that design, and no Hermes bag is worth for your apartment or your house to end up being haunted. Let's be honest, if you're going to be buying Hermes beauty, you're not really buying it because you expect high performance, cutting edge innovation, the most unique and state-of-the-art textures. You're buying it for the experience and because you have a passion for the brand. I think their beauty line is really pretty. I think they make great gifts, but I don't think that any one of their pieces are going to be life-changing. Now, if you disagree, please let me know in the comment section and let me know what your favorite product is, because I am personally not a makeup wearer, so you do have to take my review with a grain of salt. However, it is really tough to put one over on me when it comes to beauty launches, because I not only did my senior thesis in collaboration with Johnson & Johnson in college, but I also got a job straight out of college in the innovation department of one of the biggest beauty conglomerates out there. So I have seen how beauty launches work, how cosmetic development happens, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with the Hermes beauty line, but it is just kind of an underwhelming launch considering the prices. Because if you're going to charge over $100 for a powder product, I think it's reasonable to expect for these pieces to make you look like the best version of yourself and not just be kind of a matte launch. I mean, I think they make beautiful gifts. If you have someone in your life who's really into Hermes, they make really beautiful, thoughtful gifts. But I think there are products out there that will get you a lot more bang for your buck. But again, we're not here to review the beauty line. Instead, I'm here to share with you this insane launch that they came out with a couple of years ago. And I wouldn't be surprised if they did something similar for this upcoming holiday season, because I think the year their lipstick line launched, which was the first sort of wave of their beauty line, at this point the entire collection is much more vast. But the first product line that they came out with was a range of lipsticks, 24 shades to be exact, which you could actually buy as part of a limited edition holiday set for the humble price of $1,600 in this large, gigantic, in-your-face orange box, which I think they called the piano lipstick set. I have no idea why it was called the piano lipstick set, but it cost over $1,600 and it featured every single shade from the Hermes lipstick line, which I found kind of crazy because the whole idea of this lipstick launch was that it was trying to be a more sustainable line of lipsticks. So they said you only really have to buy one lipstick with the hard shell case, and all you have to do afterwards is buy refills for all the different colors that you'd like to add to your collection. So it was kind of counterintuitive to say that it is a more conscious, refillable line because it's better for the environment. That way, obviously the packaging is a little bit lighter, so it is easier to transport, but then sell a lipstick range with every single color being in its own hard shell case. I mean, I guess if you wanted to buy it and break it up into individual gifts, it made it a lot easier for you. But to me, that just didn't make the most sense from a sustainability point of view. Obviously, if you're a big Hermes beauty fan and if you were trying really hard to prove that you're a serious client, I'm sure a lot of people fell into the trap of buying it. I then saw it pop up on Instagram. People were trying to sell these lipstick sets, which I mean, kind of made sense. But yeah, that was one of those launches that I could not wrap my head around. And I'm curious to see what Hermes comes out with for this current holiday season, now that their beauty collection is a lot more diverse. I feel like there's a lot more to play around with. There are some really fun bundles that they could put together that people could actually get use out of. I mean, how fun would it be to have an eyeshadow palette with the most flattering shade of lipstick, or maybe having a nail polish paired with a complementary shade of lipstick? I think that is something that could be really fun and a lot more beneficial to have in your collection than a lifetime supply of Hermes lipsticks that you will not be able to get through before they actually start expiring. Let's switch gears and also price ranges and talk a little bit about Hermes's range of furnitures, which I understand is not going to be everyone's cup of tea. Hermes's furniture, just like their entire brand, is incredibly understated. It's all about clean, subtle, and quiet lines. Their pieces are not really shouty. They don't make a really bold statement. They are all about craftsmanship, quality, and timeless, simplistic designs. And if you have been with me for a while, you'll remember some of the pieces of furniture. Well, I only have two, but the two pieces of furniture that I had in my apartment in New York, which I actually still like those pieces, although I have to say that Hermes's furniture is insanely uncomfortable. You're not going to be buying these for comfort. You're going to be buying them for the look. And I actually don't have, well, I do have one piece of furniture that I would not recommend that you buy, that is kind of an entry-level piece of furniture. So I think people will buy these if they're trying to impress their boutique by buying a piece of furniture, which I don't think is something that you really want to spend money on, because these are not only kind of cheap looking, but for a little bit more money, you could actually get yourself something that was a lot more elaborate and a lot more intricately designed. But the pieces that I would not recommend that you buy are these little side tables, which I do apologize for my pronunciation in advance, but I think these are called Le Trottoir Hermes. It's a collection of 3 different, they call them occasion tables, that feature each one a slightly different pattern for the porcelain tray that this collection is known for, that sit on the most basic foldable legs. And I have to be honest, these kind of remind me of these really basic flower pot stands that people use in a greenhouse or on their balcony, and those I can guarantee do not cost over $5,000, because that is the price range of these pieces. They start at around $5,000. I think there is a lot better that you can do with this kind of money. I mean, for $5,000, you can buy a beautiful statement piece from a designer furniture house. And for a little bit more money, you could get something like a bench from Hermes that I think would add a lot more bang for your buck to your home. So personally, this is not a collection that I enjoy. I don't like the design. I think it is overly simple. And let's be honest, I'm not an overly colorful person, so it makes sense that these printed really colorful trays would not be up my alley, which by the way, they do change these each and every single season. They will update the pattern. Sorry, not every season, every year. I think they will update the pattern for these porcelain trays, but I don't think that these are worth your hard-earned money. And another thing that I am not a big fan of from Hermes, which these are not $5,000, these are actually $50,000. These are the Hermes carpets, which they do in 2 different prints. They do the escalator print, and then they do the Osh vibration print, which it really is the prints themselves that I have an issue with. Obviously, these carpets are hand embroidered. They are made in India, so I'm sure that the quality is nothing short of exceptional. I'm sure it would feel like walking on clouds setting foot on one of these carpets, but the prints just need a facelift. They kind of remind me, has this ever happened to anyone else? Have you ever booked a hotel that looked incredible on paper? It was a 5-star hotel. You thought you're going to have the most incredible luxurious experience. You show up, you check in, you take the escalator, or not the escalator, sorry, the elevator up to your room, and it kind of feels like you're taking a time machine back in time, because when you get into your room, you realize that it's basically like a time capsule, and you feel like that this room might have been state of the art and luxurious and modern when it was first built 50 years ago, but nothing has been changed in the room since, and it desperately needs a facelift. That's kind of how I feel about these carpets. These things might have been state of the art when they were first designed, but that is certainly not the case. I mean, these are the prints that maybe in the 90s people would have thought of as futuristic and modern, but that is not the case. We are in the 21st century and things need to move along. These prints are no exception. They desperately need an update and a facelift. So I'm not sure if anyone is really buying these carpets for $50,000, but if you have that much money to burn, please do not burn it on one of these headache-inducingly loud prints. There is a caveat when it comes to these next few pieces, because if you, let's say, grew up playing chess with your mom or your dad, or if it's something that you would love to play with your own family or friends, obviously these next pieces you are going to actually enjoy. But if you're buying a chess set from Hermes just to put on your coffee table because you think it will make you look intelligent, or you are buying one thinking that, this will convince you to learn how to play chess, I think there are much better pieces to spend your money on. But Hermes does have quite an expensive range of games available, including chess sets, which at one point they did tiny little travel size versions of their chess sets that were a few $1,000s, but they're more serious chess sets that go on a game table or that are intended to go into a library. I mean, I'm not sure how many people out there have libraries, but those start at around, I think, $7,000 or $8,000. Now, obviously, the quality is going to be outstanding. So if you're really into your chess and if it's something that you would actually play with, it is worth the money. Or if you know someone and you have someone in your life who really enjoys chess, these are of course always an option, but otherwise, if you have nothing to do with chess, if you have played chess once in your life, I don't think that these are the best pieces to buy, because I can tell you these again will not guarantee that you will be offered the bag. And these are not only the only games that Hermes has to offer, they also have the most over the top and quite frankly most beautiful mahjong sets. I think the current ones that they have, they start at around $10,000, but they are a lot more subdued than the original mahjong set that launched a few years ago that was closer to 40, I think it was $41,000 or $42,000, that was made of solid rosewood, and it had this incredible printed inlay of swift leather on top of the box, and actually each individual tile was wrapped in leather, which was just, I mean, masterfully crafted. But it was also $40,000. Last but not least, as much as I love the design of the Birkin, the Kelly, and the Constance, I do not want to be wearing a miniature bag around my neck as a piece of jewelry. I just don't think that's where they belong. I know at one point the Hermes amulet range was incredibly popular. I mean, they're still very much around, but I remember there was an urban myth that if you bought one of these pieces, you were guaranteed to be offered a bag on the spot. Now, if you were really, really, really keen to get your hands on an Hermes bag, there was an amulet piece on kind of steroids, which was called the Precieux Kelly. Well, it is a piece that's still very much around, although it is only around in 2 different finishes. You can buy this piece in solid rose gold set with 144 diamonds, which I think adds up to being over 1.7 carats of diamonds in total. And then they also do it in sterling silver with only accents being in rose gold. So I think the flap of the Kelly bag and maybe the T-bar closure are made of rose gold, but the rest of the piece is solid silver. Now, I have no idea why I have this association, but this piece has always reminded me of a tramp stamp. I don't know why. This association says more about me than the pieces themselves, but these are just objectively tacky looking. I mean, I love the Kelly design. I think it is one of the most beautifully designed bags, but it does not look equally great, and it doesn't translate in a miniaturized version being worn around your neck. I think it is just overly busy looking. It's really loud. It just kind of looks messy. Maybe it is because of the chain or because of everything going on with the Kelly bag. It is not obviously a solid piece. It's made up of individual chain links, which I'm sure the craftsmanship is stunning. In fact, I have seen this piece quite a few times because I thought that my boutique had one on display permanently, but then I found out that they kept getting it restocked because they have sold 2 or 3 over the years, which to me is just mind-blowing that people are actually buying these for around $50,000. It is just insane because they're objectively not a pretty piece. If you're trying to get a Kelly inspired piece of jewelry, there's so much for you to choose from. I have done videos sharing some of my favorite Hermes pieces of jewelry, and this is definitely not one of them. And actually part of the same collection is the solid silver Kelly chain bag. At one point, Hermes did a solid silver Kelly sculpture bag, which is now available. Well, available is kind of an overstatement. It has been done in a more fluid chain version, which if you really want to play around with the Kelly design, I think that would be a much better alternative. But these necklaces, I think, are some of the cheapest looking pieces I have ever seen Hermes do. It kind of looks like something that you would buy for a 5-year-old or something that came in a pack with a Barbie doll, which is kind of an interesting juxtaposition because even though it looks so cheap, it is technically one of the most expensive Hermes pieces, and it's certainly not something that I would ever want to spend my hard-earned money on. But clearly it is just me because it is a very popular piece, but I don't think that many people would buy this piece if they were not hoping for a bag. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I cannot wait to hear your review and your thoughts on the pieces discussed in today's video. The comment section is open for you as always. Is it just me that is being overly critical? Some of these pieces acceptable? I mean, don't get me wrong, there is nothing really inherently wrong with any one of these pieces, but considering how expensive they are, I think you can just do so much better. And if you'd like to find out what are the pieces that I would actually steer you in the direction of instead, let me know in the comment section. I would be happy to do a similar video sharing my suggestions on what to buy if you are trying to establish yourself as a really serious Hermes client. Let me know. It's definitely something that I could do for you guys. And while you're down there in the comment section sharing your thoughts, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. I really appreciate you being here and watching, and I hope to see you back here with a new video really, really soon.